What is up, guys? 70 Savage here. Today we have a very exciting video. We are going to be going over the Xbox Elite Series 2 controller. The goal of this video is to provide you guys with all of the information about how this controller works and whether or not I recommend it. But before we get started, if you are interested in gaming and want to see more gaming related videos in the future, don't hesitate to slap that subscribe button below. We're still a really small channel, so any subscription helps. Let's go ahead and dive right in. So first things first, we are gonna take a look at what it looks like when you get this puppy in the mail. This is what the box looks like. Pretty solid packaging. When you open it up, you essentially get this little satchel here. And this little satchel right here provides the controller itself, as well as all of the other accessories that you're going to need to clap your friends at video games. And if we take a little bit closer look, we can pull the controller out. We have a couple different options for different sticks. They include different heights and different styles of sticks. They have the rubber concave ones with no texture, and they also have rubber concave ones with a little bit of texture on the edges. My favorite configuration is to put the long textured stick on the right so that I can have absolutely cracked aim, and then put the short textured stick on the left so that I can have precise movement, but it's also very snappy. Besides the sticks, you also get this replaceable D-pad. It is also very easy to swap that out with the default one. All you have to do is pull this one off, magnetic as well, and pop the new one in. Although I myself prefer to use the default D-pad. Next, we have the stick tension tool. This guy right here. The way this thing works is you just pop off the sticks, you take your stick tension tool, and you can reduce the tension by turning counterclockwise, which makes the sticks feel really, really light. Or if you push the tool in and turn clockwise, you have a much more tense stick that requires a lot more effort to move around. I myself like to keep these puppies tense because my thumbs are straight up yoked. Your odds of winning a thumb war against me are slim to none. Last up for accessories, we have ourselves the charging dock. This thing is super cool because it has a couple of different ways of working. The first one, which is what I normally use, you can leave the charging dock on your desk, and then anytime you need to charge your controller, it just wirelessly charges on the dock. And then on the back of the carrying case, there's a little hole where you can plug in your USB Type-C cable, which extends into the case, into the charging dock, allowing you to charge your controller while it's straight up still just chilling in the case. Props to Microsoft, that's really creative. And it also has up to 40 hours of battery life. All right, guys, next we are gonna cover all of the features on this controller. First off, we have the 4 paddles on the back here. Each one of these work independently. They can be custom mapped to any other button on the controller using the software, which we'll get into in a bit. Next, we have the trigger stoppers, which actually have 3 settings. Right now they are on the shortest setting. There's not much travel at all, which I love for games like Fortnite where you need the fastest possible reactions. But if you're doing something like racing, you can go all the way down to the longest travel. And if you're the kind of guy who likes things in the middle, you got the middle setting as well. This also connects to both your Xbox and your PC. There is no input lag at all. I'm super sensitive to input lag. I can tell if there's even a few milliseconds of it, and this one doesn't have anything. So now we are going to dive into how to remap the paddles on the back of the controller. I'm gonna do this demo on PC. It's probably very similar on Xbox. All you have to do is plug the controller into your PC, and then you download this tool called Xbox Accessories, which simply shows you the 3 profiles on your controller on the left-hand side and allows you to change them. But if I go into this profile by pressing the edit button, it shows you a visual diagram of the controller, and it allows you to click on the paddle that you want and remap it to whatever other button you want. There's also a concept of a shift button on this controller. You can use one of the paddles to essentially have a secondary mapping for all of your other buttons. This can make your controller have effectively double the buttons if you prefer to use that shift method. So something really cool about this software, you can make the game play how you want it to play. You're not restricted to the binds available in the game itself. This is the kind of software that you want to spend as little time in as possible. You want to be one and done. Do your configuration and then hopefully never have to open it again. And you can tell that they had that mentality in mind because it's super easy to use. There's no bugs or anything like that, and it just works. You can select which profile you want to use by pressing this button right here. And as you can see, the lights show on. All right, so enough with all of the details. How does this controller feel like when you're playing games? This controller feels absolutely amazing. It feels really, really comfortable in the hands. It's definitely similar to like the regular Xbox controller if you've ever held one of those. Something that I absolutely love about this controller is in games like Fortnite, you'll see a lot of players using what's called claw grip. Claw grip is when you take the controller and you hold it like this. You bring your finger over the top so that you can press these buttons while also keeping your fingers on the triggers and keeping your thumbs on the sticks. The problem with claw is that it's terrible for your hands. There are pro claw players who literally have to ice their hands when they go to tournaments because it starts causing pain. It's obviously not a natural position for your hand to be in, and I'm way too old to be playing claw. So having 4 paddles on the back allows me to have all of the functions that I need while still keeping my thumbs on the sticks. By the way, I have a video on my channel for the most optimal Fortnite binds for this controller. Go ahead and check that out if you're interested. The sticks on this controller feel really, really smooth and really, really precise. These back paddles have that mouse click feel. They're just so crisp when you press them and they respond really, really quickly. The D-pad's very accessible, especially with that big circular or hexagonal, octagonal button that they have. The A, B, X, Y buttons are fine. I mean, I wouldn't say they're the best buttons on the controller. So all in all, the in-game feel of the Xbox Elite Series 2 controller is a night and day difference from the default controller. All right, so let's talk about comparisons with other pro controllers. It's about the same price as controllers you can get from brands like Scuff or the Astro C40. First of all, build quality. If you look at reviews for brands like Scuff, they're notoriously unreliable. They typically work great when you get them in the mail at first, but as time goes on, they degrade and you have to buy another one. They're actually almost considered a wear item. And in my mind, I just didn't want that. I didn't want to buy an item that was almost $200 and think about, well, I'm gonna need to buy another one of these in a few months. That being said, this is not the perfect controller. There are issues with this controller. If you do a quick Google search, you are going to find that these controllers, when you first get them, they have massive quality control issues. That being said, there is a way to mitigate that. If you have Amazon Prime, they have a no questions asked 30-day return window. So what I did is I ordered the Xbox Elite Series 2 on Amazon, and the first controller I got had a problem where one of the back paddles wasn't clicking properly. I just returned it back to Amazon. And then the second controller that I got was having an issue where when I pressed one of the bumpers, it would register the button pressed twice. I just returned that one back to Amazon as well. And I got a third one, which is this controller right here. And this one's perfect. I am going to stick with this one. By the way, guys, there is a link to this controller on Amazon in the video description below. So that brings us to the final topic of this video. Do I recommend the Xbox Elite Series 2 controller? Do I think this is the one to buy? And my honest opinion on this, I do actually recommend this controller. Once you get a controller that does not have any defects, it is amazing. The gaming experience is better than any controller I've ever used, and I think this is the best possible option for a pro controller that you can buy right now. Unlike other brands, if this does break on you in the long term, putting you outside of your Amazon return window, Microsoft has been working with their customers, replacing controllers and being very, very generous with their customer service. Alrighty guys, that sums it up for the review of this controller. I hope you found this review useful. So I am still a really small YouTube channel. If you press that subscribe button below and slap that like button, it would really help my channel grow. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.